Hi, everybody. Welcome to our week number 6 Twitch live stream for my intro psych class. I see a bunch of you getting logged in, which is fantastic. Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. I can't believe that tomorrow is going to be May. It's wild how fast it feels like it's going. But we're in week number 6. I want to take you over to Canvas and talk a little bit about what we have going on this week. Make sure you're feeling good about what's due. Obviously, give you the Twitch extra credit question and some reminders. Before we do that, can you all hear and see me okay? Is everything coming through fine on your end? It all looks good on my end, but just to double check really quickly, if someone can give me like a yes or a thumbs up, that'd be awesome. I'll wait just 1 second just to make sure. I never want to keep talking if you can't hear me. um, can you all hear and see me okay? Let me put that in the chat. Just to make sure. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me know. So let's go over to Canvas together and take a look. Awesome. Thank you all. So if we scroll down, right, we are right here, week number 6. So we're in the week 5 and week 6 chunk. Everything from weeks 5 and 6 is due by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. That's 5/4. May the 4th be with you, right? We get our Star Wars Day at the end of the week, and then what? Revenge of the Fifth, or the Sith on Monday, and Cinco de Mayo on Monday. So everything from weeks 5 and 6 is due by this Sunday night. So if you haven't done week number 5, obviously make sure you go back and work on week 5. I'm going to focus on week 6 since that is the week we are currently in. And this week, what we're looking at are chapters 11 and 12. So, human development and personality. Again, two kind of very core topics to our class. So, as always, and hopefully you've kind of fallen into this routine at this point, but as always, you want to do those 3 things for each chapter. So, read the chapter in the textbook, read through the lecture, and then watch the lecture video. And don't forget to click on all the links. I have lots of like little examples and videos and links in the lectures. All of that together is going to be really helpful for you. So make sure you go through that for these 2 chapters. You do have 2 discussions this week, and then we do have exam number 3. So let's go through those 3 components that we have due this week. So for discussion 11, you're looking at the topic of human development. And as always, you have my instructions up here, followed by my video. So for this one, we're looking at a couple of different things. You're going to do 2 activities and then answer some questions about them. So the first one, you are going to watch and listen to these 2 songs about being a teenager, 15 by Taylor Swift and Letter to Me by Brad Paisley. You're getting your country music fix potentially for the week if you're not a big country music fan. But if you click here, it'll take you to those 2 different songs. There's also a transcript underneath them so that you can follow along with the lyrics. And then that will help you with identifying some of the components for the discussion. So you'll listen to those 2 different songs following along with the lyrics. And then you're also going to go on a little field trip, either virtually or physically, to somewhere that sells greeting cards. So Hallmark, Target, Walmart, the grocery store, CVS, Walgreens. You can also find them online if that's easier and you don't want to go out. But what I would like you to do is find a couple of cards targeting these age ranges and then aging in general. So find a couple of cards for turning 30, 40, and 50 specifically. And then some that are kind of for late adulthood, like 60, 70, 80, or aging in general. And after you've gathered your cards and you've listened to the 2 songs, then you're going to answer these questions. Okay, so, and I welcome you if you'd like to take pictures of the cards. You're welcome to upload the images. That could be kind of fun to see, or a video even if you would like, but you don't have to, just kind of for fun. So the first question, how do the 2 songs, 15 and Letter to Me, incorporate or demonstrate some of the cognitive, social, and or physical milestones of being a teenager? What I'm looking for you to do here is take some of the specific lyrics in the songs and connect them to the specific content in the chapter to show me that you can kind of apply and make those connections. So as you go through those songs, look for specific lyrics that might highlight a topic, a milestone, a thought, a behavior, a social element of being in that teenage stage. This is worth probably the most points of all of these. I'm really, again, looking to see that you can take something specific and apply it to the specific concept. Then you're going to think about the greeting cards. What were the general messages, tone, and focus of each of the cards in each age range that you examined? What are some of the attitudes and stereotypes that you observed related to getting older and aging? You can list some of them. You can share some of the ones you saw on the cards. And then if you had to personally be stuck at one age for the rest of your life, what age would you pick and why? And that one's just kind of more for fun, but I think it's a really interesting thing to think about as we're examining some of the different pressures and focuses of these different ages. And when you're ready, you'll hit reply, and then don't forget to also reply to a classmate. So let's say I really love what Julian had to say. I could hit reply right here, but make sure that you really, again, bring in those specific lyrics, that you look at the specific cards, really give me that information. And as I mentioned, if you would like to take a video or picture, you're more than able to upload those as well. And that can be kind of fun to look at. So that's discussion number 11. Discussion 12 is related to personality. And when you click on that, you'll see my instructions and my video, just like always, going with that consistency. And so for this one, you're going to think about your personality. And there's 4 different questions for you to answer. Number 1. If you had to describe what has made you the person you are today, in other words, what has shaped your personality, what are some of the key contributors for you? I'd like you to briefly share a minimum of 2 factors that you feel have heavily contributed to your personality and explain how they've contributed to who you are today. So maybe that's genetics, it's your family, it's where you lived, it's a certain person, it's a certain experience or event that happened. Whatever you want it to be, what are 2 different factors that have contributed to your personality, and explain. In the spirit of the trait perspective, if somebody asked you to describe yourself in 5 words, what 5 words would you pick? And then to add to that, I'd like you to ask 2 different people in your life who know you in different capacities and know you well, right, to describe you in 5 words and share their words and any reactions you might have. Might be really interesting to see how a parent or a sibling or a friend or a partner or a coworker, how would somebody describe you if they had to describe you in 5 different words? Are they the same as yours? Are they different? Could be kind of fun. And then finally, what you're going to do is take one of these personality quizzes. I also shared a couple at the end of the lecture on personality. And what I want you to do for the last question is describe which quiz you took, what are your results, and then I want you to kind of comment on your reactions, the feel of the quiz, and do you think it's standardized, reliable, and valid? Do you think it was something that was helpful, or was it maybe more for fun? So those are the 4 questions for this discussion, and you'll hit reply when you're ready, and then of course reply to a classmate. So those are your 2 discussions like always for this week. You also have exam number 3. Now exam number 3 is on everything from weeks 5 and 6. And if you want more information on that, you can click right here on study guide number 3. And it's going to bring up a list of all of the terms that you need to know for the test. So this one is on chapters 9, 10, 11, and 12. So make sure that you know every term that's on this page. If it's on this page, it will be on the test. If it's not, you can go ahead and let it go. You don't need to study it. But make sure that you write these out, you study them, you define them. As I've mentioned a few times, if it were me, I would probably have this in front of me during the exam because I would find it really helpful rather than trying to look in the book or look in the lecture and using up that valuable test time. But a lot of you have been doing really, really well on the exam, so hopefully you kind of have an idea of what works for you. But remember, if it's on this page, it will be on the test. If it's not, you can let it go. So when you're ready, when you've studied, you prepared, you know everything on there, you'll go to the ebook site and take exam number 3. As always, you have 75 minutes and 1 attempt. You can use your notes and the book. You can use anything at your disposal. But as I've mentioned a few times, if you're trying to look everything up, you will run out of time. So just make sure that you're mindful of the clock. Make sure that you've prepared. And as always, make sure that you have 75 minutes, you have good internet, you have a quiet place to take the exam. All of those things are just going to help set you up for success. So those are the big things for this week. Read the do the 3 things for each of the 2 chapters. Do discussion 11, discussion 12, exam number 3. I do have a couple of quick reminders, and then of course I'll give you that extra credit question here in just a moment, and there's the checklist here at the end if you would like, and I'll post the recording of this shortly. So reminder number 1, and I typed this up earlier. I had copied and pasted it into the chat, but I forgot to put it there, so let me do it one more time. As always, if you could take a moment to double check your subscription status. A lot of you fell off last week. There's only a couple of you that are actually subscribed still, so if you could just double check that, that would be really helpful. Especially if you're watching this later as a recording, you can still get the extra credit if you're subscribed on Twitch, and you can totally do that for free if you follow those steps. The other reminder I have for you, if you're looking ahead, and I cannot believe that next week is May, that tomorrow is May. My twins, it's their birthday tomorrow. They'll be 11, which is just crazy. I'll put this in the chat. Our next Twitch live stream will be on Wednesday, May 7th at 11:45 a.m. Okay, so that'll be our next live stream. I'll go over some of the results from weeks 5 and 6. We'll talk about week number 7. We'll be in those last 2 weeks of our class. So at that point, we can kind of talk about, you know, as the semester is ending, some things that you should be doing and what the different assignments are that are coming up. We have a couple of different things in the last 2 weeks, so I'll definitely be touching on those next week and in our last live stream the following week. Let me copy and paste the extra credit question for you into the chat. I wrote this out earlier. So this is the week number 6 Twitch extra credit question. Okay, so your question this week is, what are Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development? Describe and give one element or feature of each stage. What are Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development? Describe and give one element or feature of each stage. And when you're ready to answer that, you'll go to week 6 and you'll click on this optional Twitch extra credit number 6 right here. And then up at the top, click on Start Assignment to bring up that box where you can type your response. Oops, wow, I can't type and talk apparently. And then you can hit Submit for your confetti burst, and then pandas. Sure, right? So feel free to do that this week. Again, it's worth 2 points. We have one this week, next week, and the following week. So 6 more points of extra credit, which would help make up if you missed a couple points on an exam or on a discussion. I'm glad so many of you have been taking advantage of that. If you're doing this for the first time, again, if you're watching this later as a recording, you can still get those points if you're subscribed on Twitch. And those of you joining me live, you're all set. Okay, so those are the big reminders for now. Get going on week number 5 and 6 if you haven't already done week 5. Everything is due by this Sunday night, the 4th. May the 4th be with you by 11:59 p.m. Okay, so thank you so much for all of you joining me. I hope you're hanging in there. I know that we're like nearing a really challenging time of the semester where things get stressful. So don't forget to take care of yourselves, practice some self-care, which I'll be kind of pushing on you a little bit next week in one of our assignments. You'll be finally using that other book that you purchased. So take care of yourselves, hang in there. We are definitely getting close to the end of the semester, which I know is overwhelming, but it also means we're almost there. Okay, so I'm going to hang out for a little bit. If you have any questions for me, I am going to minimize this though, of course. But if you have any questions, I'm still here. Thank you all so much for joining me. And again, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Hang in there, take care of yourselves, and I'll hope to see you next week for our live stream number 7. Thank you as well. Thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate the attendance and the company. Thank you so much. And I am still here. Like I said, I'll hang out for a few minutes if you have any questions at all. Otherwise, you're welcome to go ahead and take off. Nat, did you put your name somewhere in the chat? Let's see. If you could just put your first and last name in the chat somewhere, that'd be super helpful. Thank you. Thank you. You two have a wonderful day. Oh, someone said, I have a quick question. Do you happen to know what the reason with newer research for fleeting thoughts, where you can suddenly think of something, but before you get to say or forget it? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Let's see. The reason for fleeting thoughts. Um, yeah, I'm not quite sure what you're getting at. Do you want to say a little bit more? Because we often all have like some degree of like a thought that is there and then it's gone, and some of that is just our brains racing and kind of thinking. There are a lot of like different cognitive reasons behind like a very fleeting thought. So I'm not quite sure what you're getting at, but yeah, I mean, we're always trying to figure out like our thinking patterns, right? And I am still here if any of you have questions. Okay, amidst conversation, you can think of something to bring up and then immediately forget it because you are able to actually say it out loud. Does it have to do with the axon? So a big part of that is actually attention based, right? So like let's say that we're talking and you think of something, but you're in the middle of a conversation and that now gets your attention because short-term memory is so fleeting, only a matter of seconds, right? What happens is that just kind of goes to the back burner and you're attending to whatever is consciously on your mind. Like, so more than not delivering the message, it's more of like an intentionally based thing. So our short-term processing memory is, what is going on at any given moment. And if you move on from it or you're attending to something else, you get these competing needs that are going to then kind of drive it to the back of your mind. I don't know if that helps at all, but that's probably the idea of what's happening there. No, not necessarily like a scientific condition or name. No, it's just a more short-term memory and attention. The competing attentional needs is often what's happening there. So let's say, like, again, I have like this happens to me all the time. I'm sure I'm not alone. Like, I will be talking to my partner and she'll mention, like, oh, don't forget to get toothbrushes next time you go shopping. And because I'm talking to her and I'm doing something else, like, I might not remember to write that down or might not remember it because of competing attentional needs. And so it's more just kind of the nature of short term memory and what we filter and attend to in the moment than any kind of like issue or condition. It's incredibly common that if we're focused on something else, we tend to have those fleeting thoughts that then kind of go to the back burner and are forgotten. Yeah, no worries, of course.